Hey yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and welcome to Heavy Rotation, where I am featuring artists who are on the Heavy Rotation playlist. And today I have with me Mr. Jen.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are
Yes,
you?
let's get into it. Let's dive right into it. Tell us a little bit about you, what type of music you do, where do you come from, like what,
You know who I am, the whole story.
yeah.
That's interesting. Damn. What do I do? Well, I make music. I'm an artist. Been making music since 2018. Seriously, a lot of the songs that I have on SoundCloud are private and they don't exist. So I use 2018 as like
So
a
don't bring them up.
don't bring them up. That's a old me. But yeah, I mean, I'm from Lawrence, born and raised. The type of music I do is tough. That's tough. I'm a rapper, but I also sing, and like I'm not on no Adele, but like
Why
like
does
I
everybody keep bringing Adele up?
she's an amazing singer. She's an amazing singer. But like, nobody could copy that. Like I can't say like I sing like Adele. It's like you have to bring that type of vocal in. But yeah, so ultimately I'm just a guy that makes music, talks about stuff he goes through and puts it on a beat and just, makes projects.
We love to hear it because there's a couple songs that really like struck a chord with me. But before we dive into that, I want to go into your past. Let's talk about young Jens. What was that journey like? Where did you understand? Like, when did you understand that you wanted to do music or any of that? You know, is there
Yeah.
anything from your youth that you can trace back and be like, hey, it's crazy. Like now here I am.
Yeah. I've always been into writing. I wrote poetry since like middle school on to like high school, and my boy who made music, he would always post that he was like making songs. And back then, it was a joke to say like, "Yo, I want to be a SoundCloud rapper." And it was like nobody wanted to be a SoundCloud rapper. So I remember always hitting him up and being like, "Yo, like put me in the studio. I got something to say, whatever." And he invited me over. I didn't have anything written. I didn't even know how to find beats, but he found one on YouTube, like some type beat. At the time, I like Chance.
Be hitting.
Type beats be hidden. At the time, I liked Chance the Rapper a lot, so
Okay.
I probably chose a Chance type beat and used old writing of mine that rhymed, or like some of it, because I didn't always rhyme in my like poems, and it was a horrible song. But that's what kind of started that little journey into making
Do you
music.
remember what it was called?
It was called Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Jay. Actually, a lot of people don't know this. In that song, I said like J J J. Like I don't know why. My name is Jens, but I don't know if you know this, but in every song I do say like Jay. That's like, kind of like my thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's something that I figured like was a little signature of mine, and where it comes from is in writing. In writing, an author always like wrote his name at the end of the poem to signify that he's done with that song. So I always used like that J thing as a signature in like music to let to kind of be like, that's the end of the verse. Like we're done.
To kind of close the song out.
Yeah, so the first song was named Jay, and everyone made fun of the fact that I said like J J J, and it was like my boys would always just kind of repeat it, and I just took it and just kind of made it my thing.
Did you ever ask your parents where did Jens come from?
I asked my mom. My dad and I don't have a relationship, but I remember she told me that my father named me after an artist that he liked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Like a painter?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think like a singer. I don't know any famous Jenses, but I don't know any other Jenses. Like there's not a lot of people. There's Jensies, and
I know a Gen Z.
yeah. And Jens, I always just thought
Jegsy.
Jegsy?
My bad.
What? We can't mention her. but yeah, so I got that name from, I don't, like, my mom never gave me the cool story of where it comes from. I know it's German.
Okay.
Yeah, when I started making music, the name Jens was making plays in Germany, and in that region it's like Dutch, and there's a lot of German Dutch artists on Apple Music, And sometimes Apple Music's like security when it comes to music isn't as high as it should be. So a lot of their songs get on put onto my page, and I have to email Apple itself to like get rid of that person's song. Yeah. So I don't know where Jens comes from. It's a weird one though.
Are you Puerto Rican, Dominican?
100% Dominican.
Okay.
So now it's even more confusing as
I'm
to why, like, you're trying to figure it out. I've been trying to figure this out for 26 years. Jens. My mom says my name in Spanish like it ends with a G. Like, Jeng.
Oh, okay.
So she named me something she can't even pronounce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She says my name in English. She like Jens.
Did you do talent shows in elementary school or middle school or anything, or what personality type were you when you were at that age?
In middle school, I was a troublemaker. I got in trouble all the time. I'm talking about they took my lunch, my recess and lunch. Like I had to eat lunch and recess and have my recess in the office for a year. For a year, like 8th grade, they kept me, like I didn't play with anybody. Everyone was outside playing basketball, and I was in the office because I was a troublemaker. Like I would just get in trouble in classes. I always got like detention, and I got my whole like lunch taken away. So every single day in the office. So I wouldn't say that I was like introverted. I was probably just too much, and it kept me in that little box. But with that came I was always like, they sent me to like a counselor. At first I thought like, damn, I'm one of those counselor kids. But she took me out of Spanish. So every single time Spanish came in, she just said, Jens, come with me. And I'm like, huh? Everyone else was so mad. And I just went into that counselor's office, and she was like, hey, like, have you ever tried writing like poetry? And I was like, nah, that's for girls. And mind you, this is 2008. So like, we used to say some. I was like, that's for girls. And then she's like, nah, just try it. And so I started writing poetry. And I ended up, like, invoking my emotions, I guess, well. And my English teacher, who I was really cool with, he ended up just helping me out with my writing. And, yeah, it kind of took a life on in itself. And when I was in high school, I would be the kid that wrote poetry. Like, on my Instagram. I would just always post it, and people would read it, and I got a good traction from that. On Tumblr, remember Tumblr?
Oh, I remember Tumblr.
Yo, I posted a poem, and it reached like 715 notes.
Wow.
And I was like, that's it. I'm famous.
I'm
famous.
Tumblr famous.
Yeah. So when it came to music, it was just a perfect segue, because it was like, all right, well, he already wrote poems. And it's not like I'm making music about things that I don't do. It's like whatever I wrote in those poems, I'm kind of just putting it into these songs. And yeah, that's just kind of how the music is right now.
Let's talk about that first time that you got into the studio, or what was that process like? Like, I think you mentioned like your friend was producing and
yeah. So, like an actual studio. So shout out to David. He never gives himself credit, but he's actually the biggest reason as to why I'm the person I am today. Even like aside from the artistry, but. Yeah, so I had a song that I released called Tonight, and it got a good amount of likes and traction, and people were like, yo, this song is lit. And looking back at that song, I hate that song. It's just me wailing on a mic.
You and every other artist that sits in that chair.
We're our toughest critic.
You guys are all like, I hate that.
I hate that song.
Low-key though, I be feeling the same way about my passion.
Oh. And it hit like 6,000 likes. And I was like, yo, he hit me up and he's like, yo, dude, long time no see. We went to the same middle school together. He was 2 years older than me. So he hit me up. He's like, yo, dude, I know you were into music. Come through to the studio. Like, we're trying to do this interview thing, and it'll be cool. And I said, okay. I pull up, and that interview never got released, but we ended up just talking about the past and talking about everything that happened and how's life going and this, that, and the third. And we became just cool friends. And he moved to a studio in Haverhill. And I remember I messaged him a song that I was making, that I made like probably at my boy's crib. And I sent it to him, and I'm like, hey bro, like, what do you think about this song? And he's like, well, like, come through to the studio and let's see if we could record it here. And I was like, okay, cool. So I pull up and I record that song. And he's like, all right, cool. And then when the night was over, he's like, hey, come through tomorrow. So I came through the next day, and I was just recording more songs. And then eventually it just kind of became like just
The constant
yeah, it was just
link up.
it was like linking up all the time. And I remember when he gave me the key to the studio, like he made a copy of the key, and he's like, hey, like you can now use the studio whenever you want. And yeah, after that I never paid for a studio session again, unless it was we're traveling somewhere and we want to go to New York and try a studio over there because it's gonna be fun or adventurous. We spent $800 at a studio in New York, and it didn't. I'm not even gonna name the studio, but it wasn't good. It was like the way it sounded. It wasn't like it didn't feel like like I could make good music there, and that was just a waste of money. But yeah, he ended up just kind of bringing me under his wing, teaching me everything he knew when it came to engineering, and training my ear for songs and my sound, and trusting the process through that. And yeah, that's kind of
When you so you mentioned going to New York. Do you ever perform like out of Massachusetts, out there?
have I don't think I've performed outside of Mass yet.
Have you performed a lot?
Nah, yo, I was just talking about this the other day. I don't perform like at all, but I don't have bad performances. Now, when I was performing at like El Talle, second floor, first performance, I probably looking back made a fool out of myself.
Yeah, were you nervous?
Nah, cause I always did spoken word, so
okay.
so this
You're
just
familiar
felt
with the
easier.
stage,
Yeah, spoken word's harder. It's a lot of like hand motion, and like looking back, it's like embarrassing sometimes when you're just like life motion, like wish it was easy. It's like music is just way more. Everyone's just having a good time. I'm not the main event when I'm performing my songs up there. It's just kind of like a vibe and the sound of it, and spoken word is just the voice. Like if you mess up, everybody heard that.
Yeah.
Like everybody, and you can't just like restart.
Yeah.
It's like nah, there's no background vocals, nothing. There's no beat. It's weirder. So when it came to performing, I was never scared. But going back, no, I don't perform often. But every show hit. At least at the moment where I was as an artist. I just performed at Spigot River last Thursday for the Mellow event, and it was fire. And I haven't performed. I performed at Concept 6. It was like a show and tell type of thing. A lot of other artists went up there, and it was very much like elevated stage and just a mic. It was very calm. It wasn't like a performance, but this was like a lot of people, like 80, 90 people were there.
Wow.
So it was cool. And this was the first time that I performed without my vocals in the background. That was something I've always wanted to do, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it because I don't.
It was just the beat.
It was just the beat.
I love that,
dude. And
we need more of that.
Yeah, the songs, like the hooks were playing, like
as they should,
because
you gotta breathe.
I'm not Adele.
Okay.
I'm not Adele, and the verses.
Like,
she's like, he's doing great. He's doing great. But yeah, so it was a good performance. I wanted to make it more, like, I just wanted to make it an important show because of the lack of opportunities I have to perform. So but I do want to perform a lot more.
Be lasting.
Yeah, I want to make it so that people know the last time I went to his show, it was amazing. And so I don't know when he's going to perform again, but I don't want to miss it. There's people who hit me up and they were like, I'm so annoyed that I missed it. And they're like, when are you going to perform again? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm very much like, if someone asks me to perform, I'll be like, cool. I'm never not saying no. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I just haven't really went out there to these like spots in Boston or these like places where you get to showcase a lot of your music. But I have to start doing that a lot more. I'm very antisocial when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I make my music, I'll post it, and then, you know, like, I'll just disappear.
I feel like with a lot of artists out here, that's something that I've noticed. Like, they are the same way. They treat it the same way where it's like, I come from a time where it was like we had to hustle and grind our way into rooms.
Yeah.
and now it's kind of just like that lax feel of like, if it happens, it happens. And for me, it's a hard thing to understand because I'm just like so used to like, you really got to be out there doing this.
Yeah.
But it's also a different time. I feel like your generation uses social media a lot more, and that helps a lot. Whereas my generation was like, no, we need to be live in person doing this.
Yeah.
So,
It's also like, could I ask how old are you?
I'm 33.
33. So like when I was starting to make music, it was still cool to be outside of Interscope Records and just wait for an artist, or
That's hard.
somewhere is somebody important is at this spot and you're like, this is my only opportunity. That was cool at the time. And that's why I'm a little bit more uncomfortable with the way it is now, where if you weren't signed to like a label at the time, you weren't going to do anything. Like, you weren't going to go as far. But now, being independent is the all-time, like, the way you should go about it. All that money is yours. Like, look at Russ. Russ is independent. The money he makes is his. He doesn't have to go to anybody. You can make partnerships, like a Chance the Rapper. I don't know if Mac Miller was Mac Miller signed or not, but Brent Faiyaz, at least for a moment in his career, like, he was independent, and they paved the way for a lot of artists like us to be independent and get those streams up and get like notoriety from it. Like right now, if I were to go on Spotify, go on the heavy rotation playlist, find all these artists that I guess you have, I can go on those artists, see the playlist that they're in. This is a gem, right? Like, if anybody making music wants to do this, this is a gem.
I just told an artist this.
To do that.
What you're about to share.
Find the creator of those playlists. Hit those people up. Most of their names are their IGs. You could hit those people up and be like, hey, I have this song. It just released. So I have this project. Do you want to listen to it? Some people, they, like, you give them money and they put you on their playlist. Like, it's a business, and I can do that every single day for 2 hours from the comfort of my home. And
you can also do that directly through Spotify. If you plan your release, you can set it up,
Yeah.
and they'll put it on certain playlists. Like, the last song I ever released got 8,000 plays worldwide because they placed it in playlists. And
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
So,
that's fire. So it's just about, nowadays it's just easier. But it has to be. Nobody wants to get signed to a label because they're gonna
work.
undermine you.
It's work.
Yeah, and now it's like everybody can manage and promote and be an artist all in one day. Like, in another situation, people would come in here with a whole entourage, with a person who's a creative director, with the manager, with whatever. I pulled up over here. I drove over here from my home, and I said, "What's up, guys? Like, how's it going?" And it's because, I don't know, I think I've naturally already gotten accustomed to doing everything by myself. I was signed for a bit.
Where? With who?
I was signed to this like upcoming label from New York, and he hit me up, keeping no names, because we still have a great relationship. I just had to leave that like record because I honestly just, I'm so naturally like on my own and doing things on my own that most of the things that I felt like were getting done was just on my own and on my side. And
you were just like, I could just do this by myself.
Yeah.
And make sure that nobody has any ties to me.
I didn't want to be responsible for somebody else, for somebody else's like pocket. Like, right. There's days where I'm in the mood to make an amazing song or work on an album, and there's days where weeks, sometimes months, where I just don't have nothing connecting. And then there's a month where I can make, like, you know those EPs that are on my page that like Sad Boys Never Win, Nice Guys Finish Last. Those were like challenges for me. Like, I made at least 3 of those EPs in 1 week. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would make a song because I knew that if I spent like more than a month to make those songs, The sound, yeah, the sound would be different.
Things are gonna change.
Yeah, like who I am in March isn't the same as who I am in April, and so I had a theme for
But
each of these projects.
Even that is a craft that if you ask a lot of artists, they don't practice.
Yeah,
And it's always interesting to me, like, because I'm like, how are you only going in seasonal, or how are you only going in every few months,
like half.
and then expecting great results, but you gotta understand that time has changed, sound changes.
Yeah, the consistency too. The problem that I feel me and probably a bunch of local artists probably face is we all want to be Frank Ocean. We all wanna write beautiful songs, and then just disappear, and then come back and think like, and think that there's no, like, the dust is settled and there's no wreckage. Like people will forget. You have your core fans who, like, they'll wait and they'll always be there, maybe. But if you want people, like, more people to listen to you and know that, like, you're somebody that they can depend on, you can't be the person that just disappears.
Right.
And I don't know. Like, I remember a lot of my favorite artists, like Chance, right? Chance is and still is one of my favorite artists, but he hasn't released a project in so long because he got bad. He like, that last project he released, he got, like, you know how it went.
Yeah.
And his disappearance.
That's a PR play. Like,
yeah.
Like, lay low for 2 or 3 years.
And that's crazy.
But I'm sure he's working.
Of course. And I think he has that Starline Gallery album coming out. And I'm excited for it. Tomorrow they're releasing, like, acid rap vinyl, like, online for, like, a limited time only, and I'm buying that. Like, I'm telling you, like, he was one of my inspirations, like, in college and starting music. His sound was just crazy.
Did you watch why am I blanking on it? The show on Netflix with Cardi B, him, and T.I.?
Yeah, what's it called? I did watch it.
I started watching another singing competition, so now that singing competition is in my head.
Are you talking about The Voice or something?
La Filma.
Nah, I don't know.
That's with
I don't know.
The Spanish artist.
But I did see that.
Show.
I did see that.
I don't remember the name, honestly.
Yeah, I saw it. That was with. Wow, now I'm blanking on the names, but I did see it, and that was one of the last, like, few times he was probably. Now he's on The Voice. He's, like, one of the judges there. But yeah, point is, consistency is such a important thing, and I feel like
discipline. And if you want to be an artist, I mean, that doesn't make you an artist, but if you want to be on a grand scale of things, you really got to practice that. Like, I always tell people, like, and my reference is always Beyonce because I love Beyonce, but I feel like Beyonce understands, like, when it's time
beehive?
to work.
A beehive?
I'm not a beehive. I'm not on Swarm.
Yo, that was crazy. I only saw the first episode and I was like,
but I love
I need a break.
Work ethic. Like,
yeah.
And I come from the dance world where it's like, it was the same thing that was implemented to us when we were younger. It was like, you need to constantly be working on dancing. You need to constantly be working on movement if you want to get better.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with music. You need to constantly be working on it. And depending on the level you're trying to get at, if you're trying to be a big time artist, like, baby, releasing a song once every season isn't gonna do it.
It's not. It's not. I'll say this, cause before, like, The Vault came out, I was doing that. I'll tell you the story of how The Vault came out, cause I remember I was telling you, I was like, I'm not gonna
into the Vault.
I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you. But so what happened was, I released a project called Lovebird Flies High. And it was a very personal project. It was about my relationship and coming into that, and, like, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of all of that. And it was very personal, like, for your eyes only type of project for me. And after that, I went MIA for a bit. I was still making songs, but a lot of the songs that I was making, I felt like I wanted to solidify a better sound, a sound that was mine. And I didn't release, like, a serious amount of music. There was probably one song I released. If I released that project in, like, September, there was another song I released in, like, May, and then after that, like, one song in June, and it wasn't consistent. One day I was at the gym and I see this guy, shout out to Cherry, he like he's known my music for a while, and we've known each other's arts for a while. And he asked me, he's like, "Yo, like, do you have like, are you working on anything right now? Like, you have any songs?" And he was with his boy Harold. Harold is a photographer who shoots in film. And I was like, "Well, I do have a couple songs. Do you guys want to listen to it?" And they're like, "Yeah, like let's listen to it." So outside of the gym, I'm showing these guys this collection of music, and Harold is like, "Bro, you have to release these songs. Like, are you crazy?" I'm like, "Really? Like, I don't know, like whatever, blah blah." He's like, "Nah, like you just have to release it as one collection of music, and you know these songs are good. I'm telling you, I don't know you, I don't owe you anything." And so that day I was like, let's make a project. Let's make it, and let's call it The Vault. And I started writing down the concept of the vault. That's what I do with every project. I figure out the title. I write a concept of what is the meaning, what is the point, what is the reason. If I can't think of the point or the reason, I'm not releasing it. Especially a project, even if it's just a bunch of songs that I had. There has to be a reason as to why it's coming out. I ended up hiring Harold as my photographer because I was like, "Dude, you are the reason why this project is out. You are the reason why this project exists. So I need you to shoot this photo."
That's lit.
I hit up. I've always wanted a bar, like sitting at the bar type of photo, and I hit up the owner of Spigot, and he said, "Yeah, like pull up." Didn't charge me. He just said, "Just pull up. Just pull up. Have that photo shoot there. You let me know what time you want to go." We all went, and that is when I took that photo sitting by the bar in that green sweater, and it gave off very Drake vibes. And the rest was just kind of like how serious I took that project. And mind you, these are songs that I had just kind of
that
sitting
you put together.
Yeah, they were sitting there. They had no intentions of being released, and that's where Strange Thoughts came from. And that is when all these, like, everything just started making sense. When the year came in, I said, "Yo, one thing that I want to do this year is reinstate my identity as an artist," because I felt like I kind of lost that. I felt like I got into a relationship, and
Relationships will get you.
yeah, those relationships it'll have you investing in yourself in different ways. And once the relationship settled, and it was just kind of like on cruise control, I was like, "Man, I'm not making any music." I remember I'd walk into rooms and people knew me as the artist, and it kind of went away. And I noticed that it was just kind of like, I'm just a guy that made music. There's nothing wrong with being the guy that makes music, but you're not gonna. Why would I invest so much money and time into something to just be a guy that made music? Why can't I be that artist again? And that's why I was like, 2023, I want to do things at least once a month to kind of just be an artist again. And with the release of The Vault, everything just, like I was telling you, it was like a snowball effect where now the Concept 6 hit me up to perform, and I thought that was fire. One day before the shoot, I went to Harold, and we were like, "Yo, let's go out for some drinks. I've never met you before. We don't know each other. Let's go out for some drinks." He's like, "I'm down. Have you heard of Concept 6? We go to Concept 6. I start drinking, and the owner was like, "Yeah, Harold is telling me you're an artist. You want to perform?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go get the mic." I'm like, "Oh, right now I'm wavy." So he brings the mic out.
"Oh, you about it?"
Yeah, there's probably like 12 people in here, and he's like, "You want to perform?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm wavy. I'll do anything. Like, let's get it." And I performed The Vault before it came out. Wow. And he was like, the owner was just like, "Play that song again. Like, perform it again." And that's when I kind of knew, like, there was something dope about this project.
Yeah, when I first heard the project, I listened to it from the beginning to end. I was in here, and I was just like, there's something different about what you're talking about. There's something about your voice, the way that the texture of the voice, the vocal is on the beats that you chose. The lyrics definitely caught my attention. I was like, and it really just left me wondering, like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I was like,
the hell this man's going through.
I've never heard of this kid a day in my life.
Yeah.
And then you randomly popped up on someone's story, and I like clicked the page, and I'm like, who is this? And then I see The Vault, and I'm like,
what is this?
Wait, let me hear this. So, and like I told you, Estranged Thoughts.
Estranged Thoughts, man. That's my favorite song.
That was just like the icing on it. When I heard that, I was like, all right, I'm sold.
I'll tell you how that
the
song.
GIF of like the person throwing all their credit cards. I'm like, take my money. Here
Take
you
my
go.
money. I'll tell you because that's one of my favorite songs, and I'll tell you how that song actually like came to be. A Strange Thoughts is supposed to be like a collection of songs. Whenever I didn't know what to title the song, and I didn't know what to write about, but I knew like I was just going through it like anxiously. Because if you hear that song, it's just a bunch of thoughts. Like the first part of the song is reflecting on.
But that's my favorite part about it.
Yeah,
that it's just like
there's no structure. It's just kind of like
I told
talking.
You the lyric about the kid having the. I was like, I definitely don't relate to that, but I like the way that it painted so like clearly in my head. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was in my bag and I was trying to make a song, and my best friend moved to Spain for a year. He moved to Spain in the same year that I found myself in a relationship, and then everyone else also moved to like Miami or Detroit, and I was stuck with new people in my life, but I lost a lot of the old people in my life, and I was thinking like, yo, what the like, this is the weirdest feeling ever. I don't and that's why I said in the song like, oh like. I basically talk about all these people like they don't know me, and I wish I knew that this was going to happen, but it's kind of like it's growth, and so I was just like, I don't know, like it's Strange Thoughts was supposed to be a collection of just like what am I thinking, and this is what I'm thinking, like window closed, cold starts coming in, like that's literal, like I'm literally it's the winter, I'm writing the song, it's brick, and like I'm thinking about all these things that are going on. My friends in Madrid, but there's new relationships that, like they could care about me if they know me more. They don't know me yet, but all these old people, like they're still there. And, in the same sense of that, I'm also reflecting back on the relationship with like my father and thinking like, yo, everyone's always asked like, yo, like you should hit him up, like that's your father, and I'm like, yeah,
that's never something you should suggest.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that's why I said like, yo, from this window that I'm watching, I assure you that the brother's fine because he's good. You see these Facebook posts of like eating fancy food or whatever, blah blah, like that ship has sailed, and it's kind of coming into terms with relationships come and go. That's the song. The song is relationships come and go. My best friend's in Madrid, but he'll be back. My boy's in West Palm, but he's still there. These new relationships, they'll grow into whatever they need to grow, and that old relationship didn't grow because it wasn't fed, it wasn't watered, and it's fine. And then it ends with like, just kind of thinking about I don't know why I thought of this, but I said, you're sitting in a room, you're not where he deserves, and it never really hits you all at first. And I was just thinking about, I don't know, sometimes women in particular don't find, like, they lose themselves in the value of a relationship. And they think like, yo, this person that, like, this newfound love, like, I love this person so much, and they lose a little bit of themselves. And that's a different type of letting go of a relationship, like, within yourself. And I don't know, like, imagine, this is something I was thinking about, like, imagine I said that, like, you're sitting in a room, you're not where he deserves, and it never really hits you all at first, and a girl, like, that just, like, popped a bubble in her head where she's like, yo, you're a shitty person, like, you're a shitty person, and I really stayed because, it's scarier to be alone. And that's just kind of what I was thinking about, all of that.
I feel like a lot of relationships, like I watch my older family members in relationships, and I'm like, you hate this person. Like, what are...
Yeah.
But it's that fear of being alone.
Yeah. It's the fear of having to go through the conventions of like, oh, if I see her out and she's with somebody else, like, that'll hurt. And I don't want to go through that hurt. So I'm going to stay here. Even though it's just not working out in any way possible. You write down a list of these things of like, why isn't it working? You're like, yo, it genuinely has no reason to keep going, but you're just afraid of it. And that's just kind of where that whole thing is. A lot of relationships that we hold are worth it, but some aren't.
Are you Cancer?
Nah.
What
no,
are
I'm
you?
not. I promise you, my sign will surprise you.
A Gemini?
Nah. Cause what? Cause of two personalities. Like I got a dark side where I'm like, fuck that interview. I ain't mean shit. Nah. I'll tell you this. My birthday was Monday.
What sign is that?
There's no way you started the horoscope conversation.
I only know those two.
Jesus.
I know a Pisces, or Aquarius. A what? A Taurus?
Yeah, I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
I'm a Taurus, so I'm stubborn. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
You don't see it.
But it's giving Cancer vibes. It's giving a little Cancer.
I don't even know what that means.
It's just you're in tune with your emotion. Huh? Oh, it's probably your moon, yeah.
My moon?
Yeah.
Don't do this.
I don't go that deep.
Don't
I
do
don't go
this.
that deep.
Oh, damn.
Clearly, I didn't even know the other signs besides Cancer.
She said,
and I only know Leo because my mom is the next month, and I'm like, okay, that's what Leo is.
She said it's probably his rising moon. Is that what they call it? Rising moon?
What would you, like, looking back at yourself 10 years in the future, you're looking back at yourself.
It's like looking back 10 years, like now?
Yeah. Like,
hold on, wait.
10 years in the future.
I'm not good at math.
Go 10 years in the future.
All
10
right.
years older you.
All right.
Looking back
36.
now, what would you say?
What are you?
The message you would say to yourself now?
Wait, hold on. I think you got to think about that question. Because what would an older version?
What would future you say to you now?
I would think, what would the version of me say to him?
I don't think so.
Hold on.
Think about your future?
I do. Yeah, I do.
What would that person say to you now? What is something that you would want to remember at that time? Like, yo.
I am so confused on that question. I'm not even going to lie to you. Am I bugging? No. Like, think about it, right? 10 years into the future.
Yes, you're there.
I'm 36.
And now you're telling your 26-year-old self.
What?
What are you
if anything, I'd be like, no, you what? Like, what happens? You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's...
So is the question like, what would I ask 10-year me?
Let's go with that.
Because I hope 36-year-old me has a lot to tell me. A lot.
I would hope so too.
Nah, I honestly just want 36-year-old me to confirm whether or not this music thing becomes sustainable where I don't have to like work another job. And I don't even want to be like, I mean, it'd be nice to be the number one artist in the world, right? But it all sounds draining. I see a lot of these artists who, well, I don't see them, I don't know them. But look at right now, there's this whole Bad Bunny thing with whoever he's dating and whatever he's saying and the words that gets twisted and all that whatever. And Bad Bunny walking out of a restaurant into his Lamborghini with Kendall. It's like, bro, man, I'd be canceled in a heartbeat if I was at that level. That I would walk out and like, I don't know. Like, I feel like everything I'd say.
You don't think you would be able to handle the fame monster?
No. I'd be able to handle it. I don't think people would just... Like, I've always been that type of person where you either love me or you hate me. So, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who will be like, I hate him. Yeah, it's that Taurus in me.
With that Gemini moon rising.
Gemini moon rising is crazy. But, yeah, the question I would ask is, did we work hard enough to never have to work hard again?
Ooh, that one was different.
I didn't want to be that deep. That was an accident. That shit came out.
I haven't heard
nice.
that one. I like that one.
But yeah, I want to be able to have a home and a place where I can continue to make music and have that be my livelihood. I don't want to clock in anywhere. I'm
tired of it.
I don't want to deal with it. I don't need the glitz and the glamour, but I need like, you know, financial freedom, sustainability.
What's the next project for you looking like?
Honestly, this has been in my head since the show. After the show finished, I literally told everybody, all right, now I'm going back to this like album mode right now. I'm working on a project. I don't want to say the title yet. I'll say the title. It's supposed to be like Gents.
Wait.
You gotta put pew pew pew. No tal muere que no tiene marido. Nah, it's supposed to just be called Gents.
Okay.
I've always thought my name.
Copyright trademark. Say it. Copyright trademark.
Owned. My name is not translated. It means God's gift.
Oh.
Right? Crazy. God's gift. And I've always thought my name was dope. It was different. I don't know anyone else named Gents. In this city, in attendance, like, people get my name wrong, they butcher it, and that's what makes it unique and dope. I want my kid to have a unique, dope name.
I already got my kids' names, even though I'll never have kids, but I have their names.
I have like
Copyright,
owned. But yeah, so I'm working on an album. I want it to be called Gents, and I kind of want it to be just about my life. I have so far a couple songs under the belt working on this album, but
how many tracks you think?
I'm aiming for 12.
I love that.
I'm aiming for 12, and I want it to be double-sided, like A and B.
I love that.
Yeah, one where it's like
work.
one side is a little bit more like, okay, this is a vibe. We're out, we're drinking, and then the other side is kind of like strange thoughts and being real. And yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of that's the plan right now. I don't know when it's going to be set to release. I'm aiming for September. That is what I'm aiming for.
It will be out by September.
It will be manifest. It will be out by September.
With the stars,
it will be dope.
The moons.
And the rising moons. Yeah. The rising moons.
Lifts their hands. I love that. That.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we've gotten to know you a little bit more. I'm very excited for what you have coming. Oh, I did want to ask you, where are the visuals?
Oh, yeah.
Visuals.
I'm
I feel
not
like
good
you
at
have
that.
so much in your head, and like with your music, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
A visual would eat. And
yeah.
your type of music.
Yeah, I don't even need to be doing anything crazy.
You know what I mean? Like everything doesn't need.
I could just be in Boston.
And it's just like
yeah.
Visuals.
My boy hit me up today. He's like, dude, because I edit all of my videos. Or not, I just started. And he's like, dude, when are we going to record a video? Remember, like, I could just send you those video files and you could just color grade and edit yourself. I was like, yeah, I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I need to get into it. I got to check myself. This was a good moment of, like, checking myself and knowing what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I need to start doing that. Visuals and performing. And we'll get it done.
I would say visuals are more important than performing. I
agree.
know that's controversial because a lot of people are like, "What are you?" But it's like visuals last, bro.
Yeah.
And they speak to your artistry so much more. Performance, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The experience of being live and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But a visual, like for a fan, that speaks so much more.
It's also people nowadays, at least in the Coros I'm at, they have the YouTube up with visuals and like everyone's talking, chatting,
it's your
and
visual resume.
Yeah, it's one of those good feelings when someone just puts. I have one music video, one.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, and I have curly hair, so like that already tells you how old it is, and that's like you could play that, but everyone's like, you don't even look like that.
Who is that?
I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad I cut my hair.
All
but
right.
even the sound in those songs were just like.
I know you showed me one. What was it called? Was it the one with the curly hair that I was like,
Time to Go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a completely different sound. It's on Spotify, so make sure you guys go run that track up.
Tell Drake he owes me money. I started making house music way before Honestly Nevermind.
There we go. We're claiming it. So, yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can stream your music.
You can find me
online.
Where I exist. For now, right, before we all go ghost, I'm on all IG and Twitter and all socials under Jens Reyes, to be honest. JENSREYES. I took the underscore out. It was affecting my search. People forget the underscore. And on Apple Music, I'm Jens. It's going to be hard to find, but I'm literally the only Hispanic dude there. Once you see a brown person, that's me right there, Jens.
And you can also check Jens out on the Heavy Rotation playlist. I try to feature him every few weeks.
Yeah, thank you for that. I peeped that. I was like, hey.
Thank you for coming on. It's been interesting getting to know your journey. And y'all already know, my name is Rue Zalez, and I'm out. I'm blasting off, should I say.
Blasting off. Rising Moon.